So Jimmy Butler, once again, trying to set himself apart from the rest of the pack. He's decided that he wants to have no name on the back of his jersey to combat what we have seen as far as police brutality, to put emphasis on Black Lives Matter and the protests that have been taking place. And his reasoning is as unique as Jimmy Butler himself. Dave, can you dive into that for us?
Yeah, so with him not wanting a name on the back of his jersey, it's to show that if he wasn't an NBA player or he wasn't a millionaire, as which he currently is, he would be viewed as another black man in America. Maybe a statistic by people who feel as if black lives are secondary, or who don't believe in the police brutality in this country, or think that, it's one of those situations in terms of, well, if you just listen to what you're told, then everything's going to be okay. And Jimmy Butler is trying to prove that standing together with the community is going to be about making himself individualized as a part of the community, instead of using his platform to preach any other message or get any other message out there. The one that he decided to focus on was, I'm black in America first and foremost, regardless of my status. And because of that, I deserve the right that any other American does. And so does every other black citizen in the United States. So that's what his message is. And after hearing that, I hope that they allow him to do it. As we talked about previously, I'm a major supporter of the fact that they should have the messages approved. Having no message is a statement, and I think a pretty powerful one from Jimmy Butler.
Man, that is that. I mean, first of all, once again, this is Jimmy, right? It's Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know his history, Jimmy Butler has had one of the hardest pathways to becoming an all-star / superstar, borderline superstar. But he's a walking playoff team. Wherever he goes, you're instantly in the playoffs. And if he leaves your team, you might not make the playoffs again. And it's because of this attitude that he has, where he doesn't see himself as different because he's a good player. If anything, he wants to help everybody be as great as he is. He gets pissed if you don't reach your potential. And so that's the kind of player Jimmy Butler has established himself to be. Now, when we're talking about this particular issue, basically he's saying, you shouldn't be paying attention to me just because I have an elevated platform as an NBA player, as a black man. Like, my words do mean more. My platform does mean more. I get that. But at the same time, would you listen to me if I was not Jimmy Butler of the Miami Heat?
Right.
Would you treat me the same if I was not Jimmy Butler of the Miami Heat? If I was a 6'7", 220-pound, 225-pound black man with the hair that I have right now, dark skin, basically the definition of a statistic, especially when you're talking about, I mean, he doesn't live in Miami, he's not from Miami, but living in Miami, if you understand the area, Jimmy Butler is a walking arrest, depending on what part of Miami you go to, because he resembles a very specific demographic, which is Haitian. Like, he looks like a lot of the Haitian people out here. And the fact is, if you've been paying attention, then you know Jimmy Butler would be a prime target for racism, for police brutality. Maybe we have to send like 8 or 9 cops after him. But unfortunately, I doubt that would happen. I think they would just shoot him. And Jimmy Butler is not naive to that. And I actually love, it's very humble for him to say, I'm not different. Like, that's the problem. Oh, let's use our elevator. Not that, once again, it's a noble thing to do, but on the other side of that fence is, oh, let's use our elevated platform because we're seen as different black people.
We're accepted. It's not wealthy Black Lives Matter. It's not entertaining Black Lives Matters, or entertainers, I should say, Black Lives Matters. It's all.
What happened with Donald Sterling?
All Black Lives Matter. And yeah, exactly.
Yeah, y'all would have thought he couldn't be racist. He owns a team. He has a bunch of black players.
What does that mean?
Yeah. What happened with LeBron James when he had the N-word sprayed across his? Did that money protect him from being a victim of racism? Hell, look, no. When they told him to shut up, LeBron to shut up and dribble. Boy, LeBron has done more for the community than any of those people who have told him to shut up and dribble. Till you start your own damn school, put money in the pockets of the parents by hiring them to the school. Put food in the pantry of students who cannot afford to eat while they're at home and not at school. You don't get to tell LeBron James to shut up and dribble, but at the same time, doing all that still didn't stop him from being a victim of racism, despite him having personal experience with pushing the entire community for it. Because we know if you help out your community's most vulnerable, you know what they always say: a rising tide lifts all boats. It's the same thing. So LeBron actually has experience in this department, and still is a victim of overt racism. Jimmy Butler is saying that those experiences, we cannot forget about them. We can't keep pretending that because we have, not that everybody is, but he said we can't pretend that we're not black just because we have money, just because we're entertained. Because we see the way these NFL players are treated, especially more so than the NBA players. They are told to shut up and catch. Don't you even think about taking a knee for police brutality. You can take a knee if you don't say anything about it, because that's what we saw Marshawn Lynch do. Right. But if you're going to take a knee for a cause...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no,
if you're going to talk about it before and after the game, we don't want to hear that. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I feel is very unique about Jimmy Butler in this situation is that, I mean, can't speak from your experience, but one of the things that I have heard is when we're in this type of situation, it's difficult to hear from someone that you may have felt was an ally or you may have felt was on your side, but it's not you. I mean those other black people.
Oh yeah.
Or you're one of the good ones.
Yeah.
You have
model
your act
minority.
together. You're articulate, right? So how does that make you feel when you're model minority, exactly. So how does that make you feel when someone that you have gone out of your way to treat like an equal treats you like an exception? Yeah. And Jimmy Butler is not in this whole thing is not wanting to present NBA players as the exception. Mm-hmm. This is my craft. This is my profession, and those of any profession deserve the same quality of life. And
that's NBA,
and I agree.
That I mean, if y'all would I mean, we're talking about Drogba, who's from the Ivory Coast, what he experienced and what he experiences overseas, what Ronaldinho used to experience from his own damn fans, what he used to experience, what Bill Russell experienced growing up. No matter how many championships he brought the Celtics, Boston still treated him like a piece of shit because he was black. Like, I mean, Boston players to this day still say, yeah, those are the most racist fans ever. I will never play back there again. I remember there was one athlete who was quoted saying, I would love to play in Boston as long as I never had to play a home game there. That's unacceptable, but it shines a light on the fact that just like in our everyday lives, no matter what your career is, as long as you're doing something for a white person, whether it's entertaining them, whether it's putting money in their pockets, as long as you do that being quiet, they'll accept you as the
quiet
exception.
But advantageous to me.
Exactly.
And
they'll
as soon as that is
exception, but the moment that you begin to speak up, God forbid you ask for equity or equality. Oh man, all hell breaks loose. And I'm glad that Jimmy Butler is shining.
So I hope this message doesn't get lost, just in the fact that he doesn't have a name on the jersey. I hope that gets accepted by the NBA, and then they move forward in terms of continuing the pressure, in terms of the conversation, talking about why, continuing to apply interviews in the way that he's done so far. And I really hope that's not one of the things that's swept under the rug, because it goes against what the association has approved rather than what's right.
Exactly. And if you get that jersey approved, Jimmy, I'm buying that. I need to find that, because that's a powerful. And it's crazy because
keep it real, I want one of the pink ones though.
Yeah, it went from I got so much of an issue with the limitations, right, that they've put on players as far as picking these messages.
Yeah, definitely.
But when you come out of left field with he's like, bro, and it's real, right? It's real.
It's organic. Yeah.
It's organic.
It's
this
sincere.
Is Jimmy, because if you know Jimmy Butler, this is not anything that comes out of nowhere as far as he's concerned. And this is exactly how, in the position I'm in, outside of like when we're dealing with politics, and I know politicians, I know, but whenever I'm off camera, when people don't hear me speak, whenever people don't know I'm ex-military, people don't know I know presidential candidates and Congress people, and they treat me like a black person. They treat me like a black man. And so that message really resonates with me as far as there is no name on the jersey. No matter how much money you make, no matter how popular you are, there is no name on that jersey for black people in this country. So good on you, Jimmy. Get that shit done, man. I'm gonna go buy that jersey.